Statistics from the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence show that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have been victims of some form of physical violence by an intimate partner in their lifetime. Domestic violence can take many forms, including physical, emotional, and psychological abuse. It stretches across all ethnicities, religions, backgrounds, educational level, and social economics. Domestic violence is a global issue, but today I'm going to focus on domestic violence in the United States and actions we can take today as a society to prevent or help victims of domestic violence. It's time to be the voice for those who have been silenced. Domestic violence for the perpetrator is all about controlling the victim. Initially, they may seem like Prince Charming, but they normally have a Dr. Jekyll and Hyde complex, where in public they seem like the perfect partner, but behind closed doors they are entirely someone different. First, they start by isolating the victim from family and friends. They begin manipulating the victim and reducing their self-worth. Once they have them in this vulnerable position, they control them with money, shame, physical, and emotional abuse. They may threaten their victims, their children, their family members, and pets. Domestic violence can begin early and can impact anyone. 1.5 million high school students in the United States are physically abused by dating partners. This is a terrifying statistic and should make us all realize that we as parents need to be vigilant of our children's behaviors and involved in all aspects of their lives. We need to look for signs and changes of personalities and social norms. We need to ensure that teachers and staff are trained to handle and recognize signs of abuse. Ensure that early learning of healthy relationships is introduced in elementary school and reaffirmed through middle school, high school, and college. Part of the problem is that we as a society tolerate this behavior. The majority of us know it's wrong, but how many professional sports players or celebrities have been charged with domestic violence? Too many to count. These are role models to our youth, and the fact that this is common somewhat normalizes domestic violence. Society at first is upset with the individual, but as time passes, we once again are buying their CDs, watching their movies, or going to their games. If we truly want to make a difference in domestic violence, we need to change our response. These perpetrators should be blackballed from the entertainment industry and professional sports, sending a strong message that domestic violence will not be tolerated. Some early warning signs of someone being abused could include, but are not limited to, receiving frequent harassing calls or texts, talks about partner's temper, jealousy, or possessiveness. They have frequent injuries that they excuse as accidents. They start dressing in clothes designed to hide abuse or bruises. Example, long sleeve shirt during the summer, sunglasses at night. Next time you see a family member or friend or anyone that shows these signs I just mentioned, reach out and make sure everything is okay. I know, sometimes we feel as if it's not our business or don't know how to approach the issue. But that conversation and support could potentially save someone's life. Or if nothing else, help the victim understand that they are not alone and there is still hope. In 1994, Congress passed the Violence Against Women Act. This act recognizes domestic violence as a national crime and was enacted at the federal level. The number one issue with this act was its definition for intimate partner. It did not include persons who were dating, but was focused on the spouse, ex-spouse, cohabitant, or someone that you shared a child with. This was a loophole in the system, since a good majority of domestic violence is perpetrated by dating partners and not spouses, according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. A bill was introduced in 2014 called the Protecting Domestic Violence and Stalking Victims. This bill was introduced by Congresswoman Amy Klobuchar and was written to change this definition to include dating partner. This bill also added to the Gun Control Act, which made it a federal crime in certain situations of domestic violence for abusers to possess a gun. This new bill would add to that and include crimes of stalking. This bill was never enacted, but was reintroduced in 2015, but with no luck, and now again in July of 2017. It currently has a 7% chance of being enacted according to GovTrack US. We need to reach out to our local congressmen and women and try to get this bill passed, as well as strengthen domestic violence laws for all states. Domestic violence is a global issue that has been a devastating part of our culture. It is time for us to take a hard stance against this behavior by bringing the issue to the forefront. Speak up if you see signs of abuse. Reach out to your local officials and ensure that these bills or bills like it are a priority in our past. Stop contributing financially to actors, musicians, sports players who are perpetrators of domestic violence. Make them understand that this behavior will not be tolerated. I'm going to leave you with one more statistic. In the time that it took me to record this speech, 120 people have become victims of domestic violence. Do your part. Speak up.